TV is making TV watchable again. Join us on the Active Kingdom Entertainment Network. Download Taken TV from your App Store now.
Hi, I'm Joe Sweeney. I founded the Acervo Project in response to the growing epidemic of human trafficking and child exploitation. Classifying this as an epidemic is an understatement. Our investigation teams and cyber analysts are tracking child predators every day. We're making a difference, but we need your help. The average age of a trafficked child is just 14 years old. Will you join the Acervo Project team? Donate $14 a month to protect the next at-risk 14-year-old. Pledge your $14 a month at theacervoproject.org. That's ASSERVO.org.
Is pleased to present the Sentinel Report with your host, Alex Newman. Alex has written for a wide array of publications in the United States and abroad. He currently serves as a contributor to Epoch Times and foreign correspondent and senior editor for the New American magazine. Alex is the author of several books and has been a guest on countless radio and television programs and is a much sought-after conference speaker. Alex is best known for his reporting and research that has exposed the dangers and agenda of globalism. As the father of 5 children, Alex is working to defend faith, family, and freedoms from the hostile philosophies and ideas that are contrary to the Bible and the United States Constitution. And now, here is your host, Alex Newman.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Sentinel Report on this beautiful July 27th that the Lord has made. Thank you. Actually, it's July 28th. Here I am messing up the date. It's Friday today. So thanks for joining us today. We have a wonderful guest to tell you about a big event that's coming up soon in Iowa. Very exciting. But before we do, we'll start in the Bible like we always do. And actually, this morning I was leading a prayer call for Phyllis Schlafly's Eagles, wonderful organization. And I was thinking, where do I want to read from in Scripture? And Andrew, occasional co-host of this show, you remember Andrew, he was on with me yesterday. He said, what about Matthew 4:4? And it's perfect. Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." And so we need to remember, folks, as we're in the thick of it, in the politics, the family, the business, whatever it is that's consuming our time, we need to remember that we don't live on just bread alone. We've got to go back to the Word of God to sustain us through the tough times that we may go through and that we will go through in life, even amidst all the craziness. That's where we get our real sustenance from. We have a great guest, like I said today. Her name is Lisa von Geldern. She is an expert in many things. She's working right now on defeating the carbon capture pipelines in South Dakota, so we'll talk about that. She's also putting together a wonderful leadership summit for the John Birch Society coming up very soon here in just a couple months in Des Moines, Iowa. It's going to be amazing, and so she'll tell us about that. Now, before we get to news, guys, I want to tell you about Virtual Shield. If you go to virtualshield.com/Alex, you can take advantage of this incredible offer. You get 67% off this summer, plus free for 30 days. Only at that link, virtualshield.com/Alex, and you get a risk-free trial for 60 days. But folks, no matter who you are, protecting your personal information is more important now than it ever has been. And just to see how serious this is, go to Google. Google's evil, by the way, but go to Google, put your name in there, or put the name of a friend in if you prefer, and see what happens, right? You're going to see right away a whole bunch of emails, home addresses, phone numbers. You might even see names of your relatives there. Probably a lot of stuff that you wish was not out there floating around on the internet. And so that's why I want to tell you about our sponsor, Virtual Shield One. Virtual Shield One actually goes and they find the data brokers that are gathering and storing and making public your private information, and actually automatically they're going to take that down from those websites without you having to lift a finger. It'll actually help you opt out of all those annoying spam emails and those ridiculous phone calls asking about your new healthcare plan or help with the IRS. It's also a complete privacy suite. It includes identity protection, fraud monitoring, social security protection, dark web monitoring. They actually have an industry-leading VPN, a virtual private network. I've been using those things for years, try to confuse the stooges at the NSA and the Chicoms. Plus, you get malware and ad blocking, all standard. And they actually monitor the dark web for you, make sure your social security number, address, phone number, and even your bank accounts and credit card numbers are not out there floating around for sale in the black market. So if you're watching us in the archives, click right below. If you're watching us on Rumble or even YouTube, click down below. For the link, if you're listening to us or watching us live, go to virtualshield.com/Alex. That's where you're going to get your 60-day risk-free trial, and you can see how many websites are making your information public against your wishes. If you like this content, also, folks, you can help support our sponsor, Virtual Shield 1. That's all at virtualshield.com/Alex for that free 60-day free risk-free trial. Thanks again, folks, for checking out our sponsors, again, Virtual Shield 1, and thank you to Virtual Shield 1 for making this show possible. Now, some big news today. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who, of course, I've interviewed before, a great American, exposing Dr. Fauci. I certainly don't agree with him on all things, but really interesting. He tweeted this out today. He said, since the assassination of my father in 1968, candidates for president are provided Secret Service protection, but not me. He says, typical turnaround for pro forma protection requests from presidential candidates is 14 days. They had to wait 88 days, no response from the Biden regime, and then finally the Biden administration just responded. Secretary Mayorkas says, I've determined that Secret Service protection for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not warranted at this time. Robert F. Kennedy says, our campaign's request included a 67-page report from the world's leading protection firm detailing unique and well-established security and safety risks aside from commonplace death threats. And, if something happens to Robert F. Kennedy, that is on Joe Biden. That is on Mayorkas. This is ridiculous. Turning to New Mexico, the land of enchantment. This is going to be hard to believe, but they've got a state-funded abortion hotline that is now referring women to a abortuary, an abortion clinic that kills your babies for you, literally run by the Satanic Temple. Yes, that Satanic Temple. And, of course, Eliza Martinez, the executive director of the New Mexico Alliance for Life, says, why are taxpayers of New Mexico forced to promote the Satanic Temple Religious Abortion Center through the pro-abortion governor's hotline? Imagine if a pro-life state was sending women to, Catholic crisis pregnancy centers or Lutheran crisis pregnancy services run by a church? Oh, man, the ACLU would be all over that. But when you recommend the Satanic Temple for baby killing, which, by the way, they say it's a holy ritual for them, killing babies, it's a sacrifice to their God with a little g. No problem at all, right? Where is the ACLU? Come on, ACLU. We need you. Right? Now, folks, this is so tragic, and I think it should make us all just despair for where our country's at. But I want to show you, this just happened this week. A victim of what the Biden administration euphemistically refers to as gender-affirming care just said this in Congress.
If I may ask, would I be able to address another witness?
Through the chair, you may. So you may speak to me and reference any other testimony you wish to.
Okay. Well, Mrs. Reynolds.
And you can direct it to me and say that what Ms. Reynolds talked about you want to respond to, and you go ahead.
Well, I understood that Mrs. Reynolds is scared for her child, and I just want to set the record straight that I don't hate her. I don't think anybody in this room hates her. In fact, I see my own mother and my own father in her, and that she dearly loves her child, and she's doing the best with what she's been given. And unfortunately, it's not much. And for that, I'm sorry. I mean, I think every parent deserves the utmost grace and guidance with how to help their child. That being said, I don't wish for her child to have the same result as I did. I don't wish for anybody to regret transition or to detransition because it's incredibly difficult. It comes with its own difficulties, and it's not easy. And I hope that her child gets to have a happy and fulfilling adulthood, however that may look like.
Yeah. Folks, they are literally castrating children. They're giving little girls mastectomies and hysterectomies. And this little girl that you just saw speaking, Miss Cole there, she was a victim of these quacks posing as medical professionals. When she was 13, she started transitioning. When she was 15, she got her breasts removed. And then when she was 16, she started detransitioning, realizing that she had been conned. And folks, there are so many people like this. I've interviewed some of them. It just breaks your heart. And parents are being lied to. They're being told that their children will be killing themselves if they're not allowed to to be subjected to this mutilation. It's a lie. It's an absolute lie, and I hope voices like Miss Coles will be amplified. Now, the global warming thing, we've been talking about this since we've been doing the Sentinel Report, but I've been going to these UN climate clown shows since 2009, I believe was the first one I went to, fresh out of journalism school, covering these for the New American Magazine. And I witnessed the evolution, right? Even before I was born, up into the early 80s, it was global cooling. Then it became global warming. Then it was climate change. Then it was the climate crisis. Then it was climate emergency. Then it was climate hell. Well, now it's something new and improved. I'm sure they put together a focus group using your taxes to figure out what would be the most effective way to sell this to the public. But I'll let the Socialist Secretary General of the United Abominations explain for himself what's going on, allegedly, with the climate.
And for scientists, it is unequivocal. Humans are to blame. All this is entirely consistent with predictions and repeated warnings. The only surprise is the speed of the change. Climate change is here, it is terrifying, and it is just the beginning. The era of global warming has ended, the era of global boiling has arrived. The air is unbreathable, the heat is unbearable, and the level of fossil fuel profits and climate inaction is unacceptable. Leaders must lead.
Leaders must lead, which basically means do what I say or you're bad and you can't be a leader, right? And when I say Antonio Guterres is a socialist, I'm not kidding. He actually was the leader of the Socialist International before taking over the UN. The Socialist International, if you remember, they've the world's largest alliance of socialist communist political parties. Some of them have the blood of millions of people on their hands. Really a vile group. And of course, the reason they're pushing this climate hoax, right, the issue is never the issue. The issue is always the revolution. So the reason they're pushing the climate hoax is to advance the revolution. You got to redistribute wealth. You got to shut down economies in the West. You got to shut down energy production in the West. You got to ship it all to communist China. And apparently communist China's CO2 emissions are good. American CO2 emissions are bad. By the way, CO2 is the gas you exhale. Folks, this is a con of massive, massive proportions. And no matter how much they heat up the rhetoric with a global boiling or whatever, we need to remember this is a con, and it's time for Congress to put a stop to this. Now, another news item, folks, a really sad poll. This comes from Gallup, a new poll. They found that the number of Americans who believe in religious entities, God, angels, heaven, hell, and the devil are at new lows. And I mean, the numbers are dramatic, right? If you go back to 2001, over 90% of Americans believed in God. That is down now 16%, folks. 16% decline in 22 years. Unbelievable, but that's where we're at. Belief in hell and the devil is plummeting as well. Only 58% of Americans surveyed say they believe in the devil. And you probably remember the old Paul Harvey comments, if I were the devil, right, and the old cliche, the most powerful trick that the devil ever played was convincing people he didn't exist. Folks, evil is a person. Evil is real. If you think Satan is not real, you need to read your Bible. Thankfully, Satan is a created being, and even though he may be described as the god of this world, he is subject to God's authority, and he's going to be cast into the lake of fire. It's not going to go well for him or those who follow him. So, yeah, if you're one of those people like at the Satanic Temple thinking that killing babies is a religious ritual, now might be a really good time to repent. Coming up in just a moment, we're going to come back from break with our great guest, Lisa Von Geldern. And also, folks, just yesterday I had the opportunity to spend some time with Carrie Lake for a weekly show that I do. It's called Liberty Hour. You can find it over at my website, libertysentinel.org. It's made for AMP, the American Media Periscope Network. But go check that out. Powerful, powerful commentary from Carrie Lake about, she says she's fighting deep state criminals. They're going to win. She's got updates on the latest in the legal battle. You can find all that at libertysentinel.org. You can also sign up for our newsletter while you're there. It's free, comes once a week, and it's a great way to stay up to speed on all that's going on. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on the Sentinel Report.
You're watching Lindell TV.
Here's the news, Dad.
Is it, son? Is it?
What about this one, Dad?
Nope. It's hard to tell what's real and what's fake these days. There's just too much baloney out there. At the New American, they cut through the baloney and give me the truth. Visit thenewamerican.com today. Use the promo code Newman to get $10 off the price of a print subscription.
Are you concerned about your child's education? Are you considering removing your children from the failing public schools? Greater Than I Ministries can help by giving you 15% off our Thinking Like a Christian Biblical Worldview video series and a free Home Educator's Kit as a bonus for your purchase. This powerful video series will thoroughly equip you and your family with the truth that you need to fight the battle of ideas warring against our families. And our free Home Educator's Kit will instantly connect you with the resources you need to take control of your child's education. Just go to gtimin.com and click the Buy Now button at the top. Choose the DVD or the streaming version. Then enter the promo code Newman at the checkout for your 15% discount. That's gtimin.com. Click the Buy Now button at the top, choose the format you wish, and enter the promo code Newman at the checkout to receive our free Home Educator's Kit and 15% off our Thinking Like a Christian Worldview video series. You'll be glad you did.
Are you worried about spike proteins and how they may impact your health? Are you looking for help? The Wellness Company has an answer in the form of our clean, pure, all-natural spike formula developed by experts like Dr. Peter McCullough. The Wellness Company's spike formula includes the incredible nattokinase, dandelion root, black sativa extract, green tea, and Irish sea moss. Even better, the spike formula by the Wellness Company is vegan, gluten-free, and made right here in the U.S., so you know that you can trust and rely on it if you're concerned about spike proteins. Buying American-made, natural ingredients of this quality separately will cost you over $100. Our spike formula is only $65.99. Get spike formula today by going to twc.health. Sentinel Report users use the code Newman at checkout for an additional discount. Go to twc.health, promo code Newman, and get peace of mind if you are concerned about spike protein.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The MyPillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, MyPillow 2.0. When I invented MyPillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. MyPillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature-regulating thread. MyPillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of MyPillow.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a MyPillow or not, you need to get the brand new MyPillow 2.0. Call or go to MyPillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
Visit MyPillow.com.
Oh, I always smile when I see those ads. I'll tell you what, folks, get over to MyPillow.com and use that promo code Newman. The pillows are awesome. I sleep on them every night, and get a good night's rest. And, you can support the show and get yourself some great, great products over at MyPillow.com. You can also go to MyStore.com and buy some amazing things produced by American entrepreneurs. And when you use that promo code Newman, huge discounts, whether it's coffee or all the other supplements that they've got there, all kinds of great stuff. So get over there, MyPillow.com, MyPillow.com, use the promo code Newman, and support the program and get some great products from a great American company. Our guest today is Lisa Von Geldern. She is the John Birch Society National Events Coordinator. She's also a wonderful lady who loves liberty. She's from Boston, the cradle of liberty. Now she lives in Arizona. She's been involved in trying to preserve our nation and our founding principles since an early age. Actually, at about 13 years old, her father called her a bircher without explaining what that meant. But she's been involved in journalism. She's been in business. She's been involved in congressional campaigns. And then now she has been working in and with the John Birch Society to try to rescue our republic. For those of you not familiar with JBS, it's like the tip of the spear of the freedom movement. Huge, huge fan of the organization. They're doing amazing things for our country. Of course, Lisa is married. She's got wonderful children. And now she's working on putting together an incredible incredible event in Des Moines that we'll talk about a little bit today. Lisa, welcome to the program. Thanks so much for joining us. Before we get into the National Leadership Conference that you are putting together, talk about, I mean, it's being held in Des Moines, right? One of the big issues in the Midwest right now that is just critical. A lot of people aren't even aware this is happening. They're trying to seize massive amounts of farmland and replace it with carbon pipelines. What is this? What's going on, and why is it so dangerous?
So it's the loss of private property rights. It's eminent domain being used not for a public good like telephone lines or a road. It's being used to generate profits for private companies. And the loss of our rights to that land was actually put into the Biden infrastructure bill. And it's the same thing. So the opening night of the conference, we're having James Patrick from The Big Picture, and he's going to be showing his documentary, Nitrogen 2000. And Nitrogen 2000 is a documentary about what's going on in the Netherlands. And in the Netherlands, they're trying to destroy the farmers and their nitrogen, which is what is used as a fertilizer. I mean, the Netherlands has become one of the breadbaskets of Europe. And they're going to, as a planned food, how do you control the population? You take away food and banking, obviously. We know about that too. But he's going to be showing his documentary on Friday night and talking to us about what's going on in the Netherlands. And in the United States, they're attacking carbon. There's 3 greenhouse gases, as we all know, that are needed to grow plants, grow food for our animals and for ourselves. And those are methane, nitrogen, and carbon. And those are not dangerous gases, except when you put them in a pipeline. Right? You've heard about what happens in the pipeline. They had a leak in Mississippi a few years ago. Cars couldn't run and escape it, and it stopped the ability of people to breathe. It was terrible. So they're very dangerous, and the citizens of South Dakota and Iowa are getting together and trying to fight back. Unfortunately, Governor Kristi Noem is not standing up for her citizens. So we're watching what's going to happen. Our field coordinator for the John Birch Society, Tammy Kobza, has been on the ground there. She's organized all kinds of events that are people showing up to make noise, wake people up, and fight back against this really unconstitutional taking of private property.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is, folks. This is an attack not just on the farmers in the Midwest, but on the property rights and the liberty of all of us. There is an evil agenda here going on. Lisa, it looks like some great speakers there at the National Leadership Conference. I will be giving a talk on the climate fraud, although I'm not referring to myself as a great speaker.
You're going to be there.
I will be, yep. And it's going to be a great event. I've been to some of these, and they're just awesome. Congressman Steve King, Phyllis Schlafly always said that was her favorite congressman. He will be speaking there. Dr. Ryan Cole will be speaking there, the famous or infamous. What are some of the other things that people will learn by coming to this if they're within driving distance, can get out to Iowa?
Well, it's our 65th year, actually, which is kind of exciting. 65 years of predictions about where we are today. Robert Welch, our founder, predicted this 65 years ago. And we will be talking about that. We'll be talking about Larry McDonald, who was on flight 007 KAL that was forced down by the Russians 40 years ago, and he lost his life in the battle against communism. And we also have Dr. Doug Frank, who's been traveling the country. I think he spoke at over 300 events last year. You mentioned Kerry Lake. I live in Arizona. I've been very involved in the election issues here. And Dr. Frank came and spoke to us up in the Phoenix area and down in the Tucson area. And he has a program called 7 Steps to Take Back Your Elections. And it's what we found here in Arizona is we had a huge fight last year. We tried to get a bill through the legislature. And sadly, the Republicans stopped the bill from going through. It was 1 day, 1 vote, no machines, hand counted in small local precincts. And it didn't even get voted on. So Dr. Frank's successfully flipping counties across the country, and it has to be a local effort. People have to do the fight locally in their county to try and get election integrity. That's what we're doing. So we're going to learn from him. We also have Christian Gomez, who's been deeply involved in our fighting the Constitutional Convention, or an Article V convention. And that's something really important that the Birch Society has been at the forefront of fighting at the grassroots level. That's well funded on the other side, Mark Meckler and his gang, trying to get us to redo the Constitution, which means we're all going to lose our individual rights, our sovereignty, the Bill of Rights, the Second Amendment. We've seen Gavin Newsom saying that we need a 28th Amendment to take away our right to self-defense. So we're going to have new tools in that fight, and Christian Gomez is going to talk to us about that. He's well-versed. And then we have Field Coordinator Nicole Sanders, and she's been doing the deep dive on Agenda 2030 locally. So people know or may not know about ICLEI. That was an organization that was embedded into your local government over the last couple of decades. And I've been fighting the global greening, the watermelon, green on the outside, red on the inside, since the early 90s. I've been involved in political campaigns to fight this. And right now they've put comprehensive plans into your town. So you're going to find that they have sustainable plans and comprehensive plans and 15-minute cities. And Nicole's going to teach us how to look for those plans and hopefully how to help fight against it and make our local elected officials aware of what's wrong with what they've kind of blindly been led down the garden path by the American Planning Association. A lot of it comes out of the American Planning Association.
Excellent. Yeah, you mentioned Congressman Larry McDonald. Not only was he one of the greatest congressmen of the last 100 years from Georgia, also the chairman of the John Birch Society, and of course his plane was shot down by the Soviet Union even before I was born, but a true American hero, like so many others who've been fighting for freedom. We've only got a couple minutes left, Lisa, but I do want to talk a little bit more about the John Birch Society itself. Actually, if you're watching us live, Roger Stone will be coming up next. And a few years ago, I went to Roger Stone's house and interviewed him, and he said, hey, Fred Trump, Donald Trump's dad, was a big supporter of the John Birch Society. He was helping to fund the John Birch Society. In the 3 minutes that we have left, Lisa, what is the John Birch Society? Why is it so important? And how do people learn more?
So you can go to jbs.org to learn more. Why is it so important? Because as we can see by the state of our country and our government, political parties don't work. The truth is the Democrats and the Republicans are distracting us with a fight when what's happening is government is really, the fight is between the citizens and the federal government, or your state and local government even. And the John Birch Society teaches people. What I love is we have a series called The Constitution is the Solution. I actually am teaching that series up in town, up in Tucson right now. And people really don't remember or don't understand and don't get a deep dive on their constitutional rights and how the proper role of government is designed to protect us. And that the government in the United States, unique in all the world, was designed to limit the government's interference in the day-to-day lives of the citizens. Well, when we don't pay attention to that and we don't push back and we're too busy watching football or Dancing with the Stars, the people who want to control us, who want to take money and power from us, are busy at work doing exactly that. So we have to wake up, learn the proper role of government and how to fight back. And the John Birch Society can teach you that. We have local chapters that people can join and work together in concerted action across the country fighting back. So I wish I had found it much younger. My dad called me a Bircher when I was 13, and I had no idea what he meant for many, many years. So here I am.
Yeah,
I encourage
it is a great organization. Yeah, I found it when I was in college. I'd never heard of it. And then I found out that kind of like they did to Donald Trump, kind of like they're doing now to anybody that gets in their way. They smear and they say all kinds of nasty fake things. But that's what the totalitarians and the fascists and the communists and the other assorted evildoers do when confronted with somebody who stands in the way of their evil. Lisa, it's been great to have you. Website again, jbs.org. If people want to get tickets to the Leadership Summit, is that jbs.org as well?
Yes, it's right there on the front page right now. And so if you go there, you'll see it. You just click on the beautiful picture, and it will take you right to where you can buy tickets and learn more about the event. And I just spoke to the hotel this morning. we were going to have discounted room rates through the 16th of August, and they have generously extended it to the 28th of August. So we were staying in a beautiful, beautiful facility, and we have great events coming up. Actually, John Birch, who we were named for, his nephew, who is named for him, is going to be attending, and will be able to tell people some stories about his family and his uncle, who is our namesake.
Fantastic. Lisa Von Geldern, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it, and I will see you in Des Moines.
You got it.
All righty. If you're not familiar with John Birch, folks, he was a missionary to China, gave his life over there. He joined military intelligence during World War II, helped fight the totalitarian Japanese, and then was murdered by Chinese communists. A truly great American. Then, of course, the government lied, because that's what they always do. They lied about him. They tried to cover up that story. They didn't want Americans thinking that the Chi-Coms were actually not really friendly. So they tried to cover that up, but Robert Welch dug that story out, and it's just incredible. Well, we are out of time, folks. Shout out to Blessed News. They're going to be carrying us, in addition to all the other platforms, starting August 1st. If you're watching us on Frank's Speech, thank you. Lindell TV, thank you. Brighteon, Worldview Weekend, take in the Active Kingdom Entertainment Network, Rumble, AM/FM, Spotify, whatever podcasting service you're listening to us on. We thank you all. Thanks for joining us. God willing, we shall be back with you again next week. Until then, thanks for watching. I'm Alex Newman. This is the Sentinel Report, and God bless you all.
Taken TV is making TV watchable again. Join us on the Active Kingdom Entertainment Network. Download Taken TV from your App Store now.